Hey guys, what is up? So we are here with part 3 and we are going to jump right into it. So we're going to be working on getting the character more detailed, and we're also going to put a small little layer of ground underneath the character just so he looks like he's kind of more locked down onto something. So at this point we have the shadow, but we also just want to start thinking about the background because we are going to put a background on this, but we'll just kind of do some early setup work to kind of get that going. Alrighty, so let's just jump right into it. I want to welcome you guys back to our drawing series. If you guys are enjoying, please smash the like button. Don't forget to post some comments below too, so I can know if you guys are enjoying the series. Really do appreciate being able to read comments from you guys. It always makes my day, so feel free, comment away. If you guys have questions, feel free, ask away. And also too, as always, you'll be able to buy this drawing on the website, which is actually in the description of this video. So you can go there if you want to support my channel and to support me to help me be able to keep making these videos. It actually really helps a lot. So feel free to go over and find some artwork that you like, and this one, and enjoy it. Alrighty, so you remember earlier I talked about switching out like the background color and all that good stuff, because sometimes you need to switch out the background color because it would actually help certain things stand out. So me personally, I always like to just play around, and even if I kind of have an idea of what I want the background to look like, I'll still play around with different colors because it just helps me stay in a creative flow of just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I thought maybe I would have this idea, but what if I do that, but a little bit different with some different colors and stuff. So there's always that to keep in mind. Alrighty, here we go. Zoom in a little bit. Adjust the size on this. So you guys are going to see, we're going to make this a lot more polished and stuff. It's still pretty rough right now, but it's come a long way from where we first started, which is pretty nice. Just merge that. For some reason, it actually changed or put that little circle there, which I didn't really need that. I don't know. Sometimes it can trip out a little bit. So what I'm doing right here is, you see the dark line that's going down like the forehead, right? So on the edges of that, I actually want that to be like a little lip. So I want these edges to kind of look sharp. So I'm going to draw like a highlighted area right here, and then we're actually going to change these. So they're not going to be quite as strong as they are right now, but this is going to kind of make it look like there's a little sharper edge to it, or a little bit. So you'll see as we continue on. So I drop the opacity down on that a little bit. So now you can see it's a little bit of a little lip, and it kind of looks like the edge. Like the dark part looks like you could actually like drop something like in there, or a coin or something. And then we're going to do the same thing right here on the arms. All these little highlights, like you're going to constantly be doing these things like over and over as the drawing continues to progress, because this is one of the things that really helps things from getting all blended together. So we're going to put a little bit right here as well. Let's actually put, let's see. Drop the opacity a little bit, merge that. Excuse me, guys. And then put a little bit right here. Sometimes I like to break the lines too and not just have like one solid line, just because it kind of adds a little to the texture itself, almost like a scratch on the metal or something. I'll do another one right here, another one right there. This stuff goes a long ways, as you'll see when we're finally done with the drawing, but that's good stuff. So we made a new layer, and I'll adjust this over here. I want to straighten that out right there, you see, because it's kind of getting lost a little bit in all of the commotion that we got going on. So we're going to darken this one a little bit too. Go all the way. Just fix that up a little bit. There we go. We'll do the same right there because we want these. The separation is very important. We want it to look like these are parts that, like, you know, like there's a little indent in them. We don't want them to look flat. So that's the main thing that we're doing right now, is really trying to prevent all of these areas to look flat. Like, we don't want them to look like there's no volume to them. So remember, if you still have like your sketch layers and stuff, you can still turn those on every now and then, just to kind of keep track of like all of the little areas that we had kind of marked out when we did the ink layer. And then, of course, when you don't need it, then you can always turn it back off. But just make sure you don't delete it. You don't want to delete that layer. At least not right now. I mean, if you want to get rid of it, like when you're closer to being done, like that's completely up to you. I like to keep them just because I like to have like the before and after of like, well, we kind of started with this and now we have this. So it's up to you. I would suggest keep it though. So we're going to duplicate this layer, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to mess around with the temperature. Just kind of see like what works. We'll mess with the tint a little bit. You can mess with the hue. Again, this is something I definitely encourage for you guys to do, just until you get the look that you want. Just try multiple looks and just see what's working for you. Now, a lot of times when you see that, like when I make it dark like that, that's usually because I'm going to do something like a shadow. Now look at this. Isn't this cool? You see the little mixture we did? And then now it kind of has a little bit of a look of more like a more metal look, which is really cool. But you see, we use multiple colors and stuff to actually to do that. There's probably 1,000 different ways you could go about trying to do it, but I like this because you get like some of those undertones by doing it this way. And it still gives you the freedom of being able to like still play around with different colors and all that good stuff. So we're going to merge that because it actually looks pretty good. You can see we still have some of the green undertones on the drawing right now. So we'll mess around with the ground a little bit. Drop the saturation a little bit just so it's not terribly too strong. So me personally, sometimes I don't like having like something that's really muted looking and then like really vibrant colors. If you're originally starting out for that like trying to aim for something like that, then it makes sense. But if that's not the goal, then sometimes you have to kind of be careful of that. And so right here, I was just messing around, just looking at different colors of what the light could be like. Because, you know, like I said, you have one idea, but then you play around with a few, and then you're like, I think I like that color better. Which is also one of the reasons, too, it's important not to merge every single layer together when you're drawing, because you want to make sure that, you know, if something's, you know, looks better this way or whatever, you have the option to be able to change it. Also, too, your layers. So for instance, this entire layer of the character right now, I would also recommend duplicating the whole thing and then just hide it as a layer that's just like in the background or something, so that you can if you go too far and you don't like what you have, um, you can always go back and adjust it. Okay, so right here, I am using a little bit of the eraser to just kind of clean things up a little bit. So remember, I was saying in the previous videos too, every now and then, just pull out the eraser, kind of clean things up a little bit. Doesn't have to be super perfect and stuff, but it will help you as you're moving along, so you have less to do when the closer you get towards the end of the drawing. So you just kind of start cleaning little things up here and there. Okay, so right here, what I'm doing is kind of retracing out like the thumb and the rest of like his hand, like a closed fist. So we're just kind of doing that to make sure it doesn't get too lost in all of just the colors and stuff that we've got going on. So yeah, and then we can adjust the opacity on that. It's just so you can still see it, you know? So every now and then you'll do that. You'll just make a quick little layer. Just do a couple of little um, little sketches over an area just so, you know, it stands out a little bit more. So So right here, what I'm doing is we haven't touched the wires in a minute, so I want those to kind of have a little bit of light on them. So I don't want them to be too just solid black like they are. So we want a little bit of highlight on them. Because remember, we want these to have some dimension to them, so they actually have like, you know, um, you can actually tell it's like a rounded surface, and it's not just uh, super flat or anything. And then here, we're going to put some little grooves in the wires themselves. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. And see, just that little bit right there already looks better. And then, of course, you drop the opacity on that just so they're not super, super strong. And then we're actually going to select this color. And then we're going to do another little layer of highlights right here. And we'll do it here, here, and here, and there. And then we'll move over to the other side. And then we'll do the same thing, just very little ones. Make that one a little, there we go. Just like that. And then, of course, we're going to drop the opacity on that just a little bit. Now you see how that already looks? It's literally just a few steps, and that actually improved the look of those wires like significantly. And so what I'm doing right here is I actually want this part of the helmet to actually look more like metalish. So I'm drawing these small, tiny little spots that almost look like little scratches. Um, but it's practically the same thing we just did with the wires. So we're just making these areas just stand out more. They're more defined. We'll do the same thing over here. I swear, like these little highlights and stuff, they go such a long way. I'll do another one right here and right there. So you can probably already see the difference that it's making, which is pretty cool. You can do one here, here at the bottom, right here. You'll notice too, like if you look at like images of like metal or whatever. There's metal has so many different little like textures in it, you know, little things that look like little scratches, little dings, or all that stuff. And so if you can try to um, incorporate all of that into, you know, your drawings and stuff when you're drawing like these types of textures and stuff, it will actually help you quite a bit. Now right here, I'm kind of adding some more spots right here because his boot kind of looks like it's almost wrapped. It's almost like his foot is wrapped in like some type of um, cloth texture or something. And so just doing these little spots to kind of make that stand out, dropping the opacity down, as you can see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over that, but we're going to get dark, and then we're going to actually make these stand out more because these are tiny little spots for shadow. So the lines we made are to show kind of almost like where the wrinkles are, and then the dark parts are actually going to be like the shadow to actually make these kind of pop and kind of come to life. And then we'll drop the opacity on that as well. You see, so now it's actually, it looks layered. It doesn't look just like flat. We're going to darken this up a little bit just because it needs a little attention. And we'll merge that together. So it's, you know, it's like once you have the core of your drawing done, then a lot of it turns into, you're still, of course you're drawing, but it's a lot of like kind of like little edits and changes and stuff. So like here we're doing the same thing to kind of make this little area stand out a little bit more. We want it to look kind of more metalish. So putting a highlight on it, see how big of a difference that made? Look at that. And we can merge that together. And I want you guys to please just be patient with yourselves too. You know, all of these things, they take time, it takes practice, and you know, I know drawing can be it can be very frustrating at times, but if you just stick with it, it's all going to work out. So just be patient with yourself. And then as much as possible too, when you're drawing, try to not feel like, you know, like stressed, like, oh, I've got to do this, like I got to make it look like this. Like try to just enjoy and just have fun. You can see we're adding more highlights on here, on these little ones. And we'll put a few more over here as well. So remember, I was just saying earlier, like we layer things up, layer, and then eventually do enough layers of, you know, detailing and stuff. I mean, this is the same thing if you were doing traditional artwork too. It's just because we're doing digital, we kind of have a different interface to be able to do all this. But drawing is pretty much the same thing. It's just the basics, and then some more little advanced basics, and then more advanced basics, and then just detailing. And if you're like me and you get a kick out of like detailing stuff, then that's where the fun part comes in. It's like the core and the structure is always, for me, it's just kind of like get past this part because I like the detailing stuff. But you know, someone might be the opposite of that. Someone might just, you know, not like the detailing stuff and might like the core stuff. But yeah, so it all comes down to your drawing style and what you like. Let's fix that one up there. There we go. We've come a long ways, guys. Yes, don't forget to save. But yeah, we've come a long ways from the big blob that we that we started with at the beginning. So I'm using this curve tool right here because this actually is allowing. I'm using the Y, so this, you see how I'm actually kind of getting a little bit of a texture that looks more like metal. And so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to use the eraser, and I'm going to drop it down pretty low, and I'm going to erase over the further out parts, and I'm going to leave kind of more of the center, some spots in the center, leave them a little bit stronger because it actually looks like the light's hitting harder on there. See how it almost has more of a metal look um, than originally than what we just had. So it's cool. So you can, that's why I like. Here we go. See, look at that. Isn't that cool? Especially right there in the center of the helmet, you can see it looks more metal. So we're gonna merge that together because that looks good. And we are at the end of part 3. So you guys stick around for part 4, and we're knocking it out. So I'm very excited, and I cannot wait to just continue doing these videos with you guys. I tell you, this is really a lot of fun for me, and I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I hope you guys are learning and seeing things that maybe you want to try. Always feel free. Post down in the comments below, give the video a big thumbs up, and then also too, if you guys really want to help support my channel, you guys are more than welcome to go buy this drawing, as I was saying in all of my videos. But it really does help me to be able to keep this dream alive of being able to do all of this artwork and stuff, and just keep putting these videos out for you guys. So yeah, go buy a drawing. It's about as price of a cup of coffee. So go buy me a coffee while I'm out drawing. So anyway, but I appreciate all of you guys so much. So I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.